worried about you. Everybody knows that a tester's work is dangerous. You shouldn't have taken this job.
Come on, sweetheart. I'll be all right. Besides, we don't have much of a choice. This is the only way to earn some cash for Chris's treatment. Hi there, champ.
Daddy! I played soccer today. I even scored a goal.
Fantastic. It's a shame I couldn't see it.
When are you coming back?
Soon, son. Soon.
I can't wait to see you again.
I know, sweetheart, me too. Fortunately, I'm leaving today, right after the surgery.
Surgery? Something's wrong?
No, everything's fine. They need to replace my timer, that's all. Don't worry, I'll be home tomorrow.
Hi everyone, Rebecca here for Winchester Gaming and Tech. Today we're talking about a game called SERUM. I was lucky enough to gain access to SERUM by Game Island and Topless Productions before early access release on the 24th of May 2024. This gave me a chance to spend some time on the game over the week leading up to the release, and some of you were able to watch this on our live streams. We play as Adam Stewart, a SERUM tester. The story is set on the island of Madamus, and Adam was part of a program by the Evers Corporation, a pharmaceutical organization, to find a cure for an infection known as the Blight. Little did Adam know, as he wasn't being told everything, that testing would eventually kill him. However, while he was going through surgery, something went terribly wrong and Madamus is overrun with a toxic fog and mutated beasts, and Adam is left with a device in his arm where he must inject himself with serum that holds back the effects of blight for short amounts of time. Serum comes with both advantages and disadvantages. It can give Adam abilities that he can use to survive as well as prolong life, but Adam must make the serum himself, and so he has to harvest the ingredients from plants and animals around him. The serum also poisons the body, and Adam must frequently use an absorber machine to rid his body of the toxins. As you saw in the beginning of the video, we start with an interesting story introducing our character Adam as he talks with his wife and child. He is hoping to be home with them the next day, and a little foreboding with the sound of his small child coughing shows how desperate Adam must have been to sign up for the program. But then we wake in a sewage tunnel and the game begins. Something catastrophic has happened on the island, and I'm not sure how much time has elapsed between Adam's phone call and waking in the tunnel, but now Adam is in the fight for his life. With the help of a contact named Richard via radio, Adam finds the node where he will be able to set up a base of operations. He can fabricate the serum he needs and gather other resources required to build and upgrade tools and weapons here. It seems the overall object of the game is to get to Richard's lab in another biome. Since release, I've seen a number of improvements to the game, and gameplay gets better with each session. I held off with this review for this very reason. Because I was playing a version before the early access release, I knew to expect some bugs and even crashes. The version of the game I got to play showed SERUM had some great concepts and the potential to be a really enjoyable game. By the time of the official release, I had a pretty good grasp of the game, and I started to see the first of the improvements and additions to the game. First off, SERUM has an interesting story concept with Adam under constant time restraints with the serum and needing to gather resources to make serum, as well as gather access cards to open up the other biomes so he can get to the safety of Richard's lab. All the while being poisoned by the serum and fighting all manner of mutated beasts and the dead workers now mutated beyond recognition. I really like the art and colouring in the game, and one major change from when I started to the official release was the lighting dramatically improved. The sound in the game is really well done also. The whispering from the undead is creepy and surrounds you as you explore the biomes. One vast improvement was the tutorials in the beginning. Even as a seasoned player, I was a little lost with some aspects of the game when I first started playing, and it was time-consuming to work it out. Especially when SERUM is in itself a new concept and time is needed to understand how it works, how you create it, and so forth. But when replaying the beginning now, it is much easier to grasp, and so I feel even someone new to gaming or to the genre would be able to manage much easier. In saying that, I felt overall the main objective, instructions and directions have always been quite clear and easy to follow. There are just a few things that I feel could still be time-consuming for some players to grasp, such as aspects. Aspects are the mind, body, and spirit, which is shown as a symbol in your inventory. These three aspects are in everything that lives and are part of the serum. You can collect these by recycling organic materials such as the beast's remains you harvest, plants you gather, and also using the menagerie, where you place captured beasts and the aspects is collected from them. This all takes a little time to understand. The other concept I think could be made clearer is biofuel and the generator, especially since the hydroponics is an important element to making the serum. When using the generator, it is never quite clear on what you use to power it. If you miss the brief tutorial farming, you might not see the biofuel is needed for the generator, and I don't recall ever seeing instructions on how to gather the biofuel. When you turn on the generator, the numbers go up indicating you are filling it, but it doesn't indicate what resource you are using to fuel it. You assume the gas can, but you can't tell if it empties, so you are not quite sure if this is what is fueling it. Of course, with trial and error, you pick it up and work out what is happening, but this is time that could have been spent working on other elements of the game. Recycling wasn't very clear to me at the start, as well as the drawing table, and so you had to be mindful what items you recycled, as you needed those for upgrading your base of operations, etc. However, after replaying the beginning, recycling is much easier now with the ability to make blueprints of the items you are gathering. This makes recycling so much more streamlined and neater than earlier versions, so it is greatly improved. It also solves the issue of not having enough storage space in the beginning stages. Crafting the blueprints early on means you're not overloaded with resources, since you only start with one small storage box in the node. Storage inventory is one of the best changes I've seen in the game since release as well. In the early stages, you had to move each item individually, and it was somewhat annoying, but now it is much more streamlined with the ability to move things over in bulk. Character movement was always quite smooth, with only jumping and climbing being a little cumbersome at times. Trying to climb up on things is getting smoother, but could be better. There is fall damage, and even the smallest of falls will cause damage. This isn't necessarily a bad thing, but something to be mindful of. Another awesome improvement is health. Although you can have a health boost using serum, there's always a need for a quick patch-up. Getting hit mid-combat sometimes requires a quick fix, and this wasn't always available to start with, but bandages have since been added. Using serum to boost health will give optimum benefits, but a quick small patch-up with a bandage can be the difference between life and death. The biggest gripe I had with the game was the weapon wheel. In the beginning, you were forced to use tab and then move to the item you wanted, which was frustrating and dangerous in certain situations. If you were using your scanner and then were suddenly attacked, you wasted precious seconds tabbing to your weapon. But thankfully, devs have fixed this, and now you can scroll through your weapons as you would expect to be able to in such a game. This is a vast improvement and has made the combat so much more enjoyable. You need to find a series of blueprints to upgrade your weapons. Lower level mutants are easily dispatched with your starter weapons, but some beasties are quite tough, so think out your strategy before getting into a fight. Combat does need some work in my opinion. I did struggle here a little with some of the movements such as blocking, but as it's early access, I feel this will improve over time. It was certainly playable though, and I managed to bag quite a few of the early stage beasts without issue. It was more the bigger mutants and the infected dead workers that gave me grief. They proved next to impossible to kill with my starting weapons, and I really struggled with not being able to use the blocking feature, which I at first thought was me, but after seeing the patch notes, I think it might have been in the game. Finding ways to upgrade your weapons is vital for those stronger adversaries. I highly recommend upgrading your weapons before attempting the bigger beasts. I would also play around more with the serum abilities to see what else I could use against them, as a simple hit with a weapon seemed to not do much damage to some creatures. Serum, after all, is another weapon, so it should be used as such when needed. Finding how best to utilize the serum abilities is the challenge. Another thing I discovered when I did a replay was a change to the starting objectives. I am pretty sure when I did my first run through, you were directed to only open one of the gates, but this time I was directed to open both. I got to explore the whole new area for a short period of time, and I'm now looking forward to seeing more of that biome. Overall, gameplay is fun with the extra pressure of the timer constantly running out on your arm. Plenty to scavenge around as you find hidden puzzle boxes and follow the main story objectives. You have to find a series of codes and access cards that will help you travel between the other biomes. What is really cool is that when you have completed these quests, you'll be able to travel between these biomes using the cable car. I have yet to do this myself, but I'm hoping you have the option to travel in the car and view the biomes from above and not just fast travel to each station. The game ran quite smoothly for me most of the time. I did notice a few of the Steam reviews stating they had frame rate issues. I had a few stuttering moments, some frame drops, but overall I can't say it affected gameplay though, and I'm running a standard gaming PC setup, so nothing fancy. The game did crash once for me, and when I came back into the game, I came back to exactly where I'd left off, with no lost time, which is always impressive, as there is nothing like losing progress. In the end, I'm willing to give the current version of SERUM 3 stars. I think work needs to be done, but it certainly has the potential to be a great game, especially once co-op is added. It is certainly enjoyable right now, and I have had a lot of fun playing it, and I am keen to see what happens when Adam gets out to Richard's lab, so look up for an update video in the next few weeks. I am really curious to see what happens when you get those cable cars running. I really hope we get to ride them. Fingers crossed. Don't spoil it for me if you know. Let me know what you think of the game in the comments below. Thanks so much for watching.